Mainstream media telling the tale of German farmers blocking roads because of diesel fuel exemptions being lifted. Is this really the story? Whoa! Massive convoy with thousands of tractors and trucks filling up the entire city of Germany. Never seen anything like this, says Peter Sweden on Twitter. The lineup is massive, absolutely massive. Hey, look, I see an open lane right there. Hey, let's look at this story because this is eerily similar to a Canadian story that happened only 2 years ago and exactly how the mainstream media is reporting on it. Now, I've been following this story. It's kind of tricky because a lot of it's in German, but the nice thing about these websites like Twitter is you can get translated posts and there's a lot of translation services. I think this is a key thing in this information age, that we can communicate with each other, even if we can't speak each other's languages. This is massive, this protest that's taking place in Germany, but the mainstream media is running the story that German farmers are blocking roads with tractors and staging protests against a plan to scrap diesel tax breaks. Is this really the story? Is this the only thing that they're on about? And are these tax breaks? I'm only just looking at how things are in Canada for farmers. And if you look at the Canadian colored or marked fuel, it's normal for gasoline and diesel fuels to have the characteristic red dye added to it to distinguish it from other fuels. Road taxes are not collected on fuels that are not used on the roads. Yeah, that's right. These aren't exemptions. If this is exactly how things are going in Germany, but this isn't the only thing that they're arguing over, but this is what the mainstream media wants you to believe. With this, farmers blocked highway access roads in parts of Germany Monday and snarled traffic elsewhere with their tractors, launching a week of protests against government plans to scrap tax breaks on diesel used in agriculture. I would call those tax hikes. This would be a new tax introduced on farmers that otherwise can't afford it, especially in this time in this day and age. Germany is especially woke in the past few years, getting rid of their large nuclear reactors in order to bring on solar and wind, only to find out that you need to have natural gas to supplement that, and then having a big problem when it came to the war in Ukraine over that whole deal and where they're going to get the natural gas from. Chancellor Olaf Scholz, unpopular three-party coalition, sound familiar, Canadians? Infuriated farmers last month by drawing up plans to abolish a car tax exemption for farming vehicles and the diesel tax breaks, right? The proposals were part of a package to fill a 17 billion euro hole in their 2024 budget. Yeah, that's right. They have a government that spends way too much money and wants to tax their citizenry unjustly to pay for their overspending habits. Yes, this sounds eerily familiar, and this is more scenes in Germany of this. German politicians decided to implement a woke new diesel tax that threatens livelihoods rather than back down. Farmers took to the streets. And are they going to pull, what's next? Are they going to pull some sort of talking about them being a fringe minority with unacceptable views, something like Trudeau? Oh, wait, what's this? Here's the German vice chancellor and Green Party leader talking about how they're extremists.
Wir dürfen nicht zulassen, dass Extremisten diese Verunsicherung kapern. Wir dürfen nicht blind sein. Umsturzfantasien heißen nichts anderes, als unseren demokratischen Staat zerstören zu wollen.
Basically saying these are extremists that want to overthrow a government, the democratically elected government of the country that's made a coalition against the democratic will of the country. Yeah, that's right. It sounds very familiar, I'm sure, to a lot of Canadians here. Now, of course, there was this scene, Disclosed TV, amongst a lot of others, posting this scene. In Germany, farmers try to storm a ferry carrying economy minister and Green Party and economy, I don't know how you get those two squared away, member Robert Habeck, which is the guy you just saw this past evening. Now, here's Eva Vlaar taking to Twitter to give a little bit more context to this. On the basis of this video, the entire German mainstream media is now trying to vilify the German farmers as violent extremists who tried to attack the German Minister for Climate Action, Robert Habeck. Of course, none of this is true. The reality is that the farmers you see here wanted to talk to Habeck. Sound familiar? The man who's destroying their livelihoods, mind you, and he cowardly flat out refused to listen to them. Again, sound familiar? And he cowardly, after that, he made the boat and he was on turnaround, and the police even used pepper spray on the farmers to push them back, even though, according to the police themselves, there was no violence used by the farmers. The vilification process was, of course, to be expected. The mainstream media tried to doing the exact same thing to the Dutch farmers and truckers in Ottawa, Canada, 2 years ago. Yes, that's right. There are even trials still being held over that. We're witnessing the same old intimidation tactics and the same efforts to turn the public against the farmers. It won't work, though. This time, the people see through their lies and people stand with the farmers. And this is going to be across the globe because people are seeing this massive, massive effort. Here we go. End wokeness saying, holy shnikes. German farmers and truckers are fed up and are now uniting against the government. This is Berlin right now. This is amazing to be seen. Now, listening to people in the area and what they're actually saying, here's Gaugi, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. He is on Twitter, and he posted this video, and I wanted to show this because he gives a little bit way more context to the situation than anyone else.
I'm so happy to receive massive support from all over the world. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying with us, but please give me another minute of your time and listen carefully. German farmers need your help. As you know, lots of hardworking Germans are protesting against the government and their politics. Now they get attacked by mainstream media trying to frame them into right extremists. I want to tell you a short story from 2 years ago. I think most people outside of Germany don't know that we have a massive flood disaster in 2021. It's in a region called Ahrtal. Without asking, farmers and private construction companies from all over Germany came to help for free. Spending their time away from the family, traveled hundreds of kilometers to Ahrtal with construction materials and machines on their own costs. They were called heroes. These heroes are now called right extremists by mainstream media and
Does that sound familiar? The truckers in Canada, they were called heroes for spending all their time in their trucks during the COVID-19 pandemic, and they sacrificed so much. They weren't allowed to go into washrooms. They weren't allowed to go in to eat at restaurants. They weren't allowed anything, and they were called heroes until they had had enough. They stood up, and then they were vilified, just like these farmers in Germany.
Also by the people who called them heroes 2 years ago. As you know, they are just frustrated and want to protest friendly. They leave space for emergency lanes regarding to EMS services. Also, the police already shared everything is fine. They work together with us, open lanes for doctors, hospital employees, and much more. Please share this to show the world Germany is fighting to get their normal lives back, and that has nothing to do with white extremism. Thank you very much for all your support.
I'll leave a link to the original tweet in the description down below. You can share this out for people on your own, so other people can get this information without having to watch this whole video. Eva Vlaar also posting some words from a German farmer himself saying why they're there.
And this is the result of 4 years trying to get in contact with politicians, talking to them on an equal level, but they won't listen. And now we have no other choice than to demonstrate, and it's our right.
Yes.
It's one of the highest rights, especially in Germany.
Yeah.
Demonstrate. We are not violent. This is all friendly. You can see we have a small gap that people can drive through. Police, ambulances, everybody can come through. But this is only the tip of the iceberg, to be honest, because all over in Germany this is the West. We have Dutch farmers coming over to support us. In the East, we have Hungarian farmers, Polish farmers, and we are all united in getting rid of politicians who are trying to get rid of us.
Right. Yeah, so I was very active in the Dutch farmers protest, and I remember I said a few years ago, Guys, pay attention because this is going to be a global issue. There's a global attack on farming. You are describing the same thing here in Germany. Why are these politicians coming after you? Why are they trying to destroy you?
I think there are many reasons. First of all, they want our land, and you in Holland are kind of the example what politics want, or
Right.
politicians want. They want our land to build industry, houses. I don't know, for refugees, whoever. I don't care for what.
Right.
But the reason they want it is not really my thing to say. But we are the people who don't work in a co-working space, and we don't have a startup or what. We produce the most
Food.
important thing in the world, food.
Right.
Absolutely, they produce food. I'll leave a link again for this in the description down below. You can watch the whole video for yourself. But I wanted to demonstrate. This is a huge movement. There's lots of people from all different walks of life, different parts of the farming industry, the transportation industry. People are getting together and they're protesting this. It's huge. This is all over the place, but you might see a little blip here, a little blip there in the mainstream media, because just like the truckers convoy, they wanted to get rid of it. And I love this. I wanted to share some of this. They're dumping fertilizer all over the map in this effort here. But this is what happens. This is what happens. But just like in Canada, the Canadians had bouncy castles. The Germans have pedal tractors. This is a beautiful sight. So families coming out. It's a family event. It's wholesome. It's really this. What they're trying to paint them as is not what it actually is. If you want to take a lesson from the trucker convoy, you want to take a lesson from the Dutch farmers' protests, this is what's happening in Germany right now, and it's growing. It's becoming a nation, more than a nation, an international effort, because there is a concerted effort to bankrupt farmers in order to take their land and control people's livelihoods. If you control the food, what else do you control? Everything. Pretty much everything. They don't want people to be independent. They want dependency, and this is what people are fighting against. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this whole story. Tell me if I've got it wrong. I think I've got it right. Anyway, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.